Hello and welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be drawing some ears. Yes, ears. We're going to start out by drawing a human ear, and then we'll go ahead and draw some, I don't know, fantasy ears, like an elf or a goblin ear or something like that. We're just going to be messing around. Anyways, let's go ahead and not procrastinate and get right into this. Now we could start off by just sketching a box down. Just a box to put the ear in. We're not going to do any sort of perspective, even though that kind of looks like I was trying to. We're just going to put the ear in this box. So we'll get a shape for the ear. There we go. I might need to make this ear a little longer, actually. But overall, I think this should be fine so far. Alright, that's good enough ear shape. Now let's quickly just grab this, because I was drawing a little too hard. Using a new pencil. Giant-ass pencil. So I need to erase it. Let's see how good this erase is. Alright. Now, what are we doing? Okay, so one thing I should have done is actually have only lined it up to about there. Like this, kind of. Okay, let's think this through. Okay, so I should have broke the ear up into some more shapes, but I was kind of just winging it. And you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to keep winging it. Who gives a shit? This is the first one. It doesn't need to look perfect or anything. This one can look bad. That's allowed. We're just messing around anyways. It's kind of why I decided to draw ears today anyways, because it's fucking late. So I just wanted something fast to draw, but fun to draw. So I picked ears, because randomness. I think I rarely ever actually draw ears. I've drawn fantasy noses a couple times, and regular noses a couple times. But ears, I rarely ever actually draw ears, because I hide them behind the hair, or just decide not to draw them all the time. All the time. Just because I don't want to draw them, because I don't know how to. But last time I drew noses, and I drew some fantasy noses along with it, I had fun, so that's why we're doing ears today. Because I figured, it'll be fun, maybe. Alright, there's this drawing. I definitely like this pencil for sketching. It's quite large, but I like this pencil for sketching because it's very soft and erases easy. It wouldn't be good for doing finer lines, though, but I have mechanical pencils for that. Okay, let's go ahead and try and draw a goblin ear. What am I doing here? Well, I'm going to give it... We're going to try and draw a couple of different goblin ears. And we're going to decide which one we like better. Because, well, there's multiple different styles of a goblin ear. Alright, so we'll go like this, and then this. Alright. That area right there is not perfect, but it's fine. There we go. Alright, this should actually be a little more straight like that. There we go. So this and that. There, that's pretty good. Okay, so I was gonna describe what type of ear I'm doing, but I don't really know how to describe this one. Normally, when I think of a goblin, I tend to think of a more pointy ears. But I'm trying for a more rounder ear this time to see if it looks more goblin-like or if it even looks good. Because if it looks good, maybe I'll want to use this for my goblin designs. I don't know. I am gonna need to. I'm trying to think of stuff for my fantasy world right now. And in my world, female goblins and male goblins look the exact same. So I was trying to think of slight differences between them. So I think maybe I could give them different ears. I could give the female goblins rounder ears, like this. And then the male ones could have sharper ears, like I'm about to draw. But I don't know. I might not do that. I might scrap them looking the exact same anyways. But I don't know. In my little fantasy world, goblins are just monsters too. They're not civilized enough to be a civilization. The most they'll be advanced to is like some stone tools, maybe. Alright, that's good. Not perfect, but not terrible. We got human, we got goblin. Let's go ahead and do another goblin ear, but this one's going to be sharper. So we'll go ahead and start with like the same thing we did last time, because honestly I feel like that kind of helped. Even though I didn't really pay attention to it, I do feel like it kind of helped. So we're going to go like this. Alright, now for a sharper goblin ear, we're going to want to go pretty much straight out, and we'll go ahead and point it down a little bit towards the end. Not that much, but more than just straight out, because, well, gravity exists. And gravity would, well, pull down that part of the ear. Maybe the longer they live, the more droopy their ears get. I don't know. Maybe that's something I could add to. I'm not sure yet. Alright. Then, like, add a little bit of flair to it. Okay, that's not perfect, but it's not terrible. It's just kind of sloppy. Alright. There we go. Perfect enough. And then we'll need to add some like detail lines on the inside, you know, because, well, there's lines on the inside of ears. Kind of adding these with no regard to what the ear actually looks like, because I genuinely don't know where they should actually go. Okay, so this one's a little more sloppy. It's not as clean as the other one. But I don't think this one's bad. I actually do kind of like this one. Alright, I do like this one. It's not perfect. But yeah, I do think I like the female goblins having rounder ears and the males having more pointed ears. I don't know. Maybe not exactly pointed like that either, though. They could be more rigid or beat up. I don't really know. Let's go ahead and try and do a more like pointed up ear. Pointed up like monster ear, if that makes sense. Like maybe something more of an orc or just a different type of goblin ear once again. Trying to think of how the fuck I would want this to actually look. But okay, this isn't exactly perfect, but alright, let's try and go like this a little more. Okay. Go like that. Go like that. And go like that there. That's not perfect, but I think it's good enough for now. Alright. There we go. Now we're going to go like this, go like this, and then that. And, my brain don't know what it wants for this ear to look like. The ear is gonna be ear-shaped. Dun-dun-dun. But how ear-shaped, I don't know, 'cause I don't know what I'm doing. Gonna just add some shapes in here and pretend like we know what we're doing. And apparently I'm gonna sing a song about it, 'cause I'm singing. Yeah. Alright, that is definitely an ear. Alright. Yeah, that one's not terrible. It's just kind of, I feel like, a little unorganized. But I mean, like, I went into these two with ideas of what I wanted. This one I went into with literally, like, just the idea of maybe a little more pointed upwards. So I think this one actually looks pretty good for having went into it with no idea. Now what do we want to do? These were the only types of ears that I thought about doing. Well, I meant to point at these two, not this one. What if we do one that's more pointed up, but more teardrop shaped? Maybe possibly an orc. I genuinely don't know. Am I even going to have orcs? That really doesn't matter. I'm not necessarily just trying to draw things that are going to be in my story. I'm just trying to draw things that are ears, because I'm drawing ears. Alright, do that, and this, and then the inside of the ear will be like that. Alright, hold on. I got this. I'm going to turn this into something wonderful, and amazing, and whimsical. Am I really? Yeah. Hard to tell. Hard to tell this early on when there's really not too much down about this part. Right. There we go. Okay. Then go like that. Alright. Well, I wasn't really thinking this out very much during the sketching process, but now I'm actually trying to think it out a little bit because, well, it's no longer the sketch, and I didn't detail the sketch very much, so I need to think a little harder. Okay, so this would need to actually be like this, and then this is like this. That's a little off looking. What if I were to go like this? This was like a, like, you know, the little, like, dingly dangly part on your ear? What if that was this? And then that was right there. This can be the darkest part of your ear. And then this can kind of just be shadowed out. That was me. And then in here would just be some, lines. Alright. Yeah, that's not bad. Not amazing, but not bad. Okay. I want to see how long this is taking me. 15 minutes. Okay, that's fine. What do we want to draw next? What if we just draw, what do dwarf's ears look like? They're kind of just wider. Let's make an ear, but wider. Let's do an ear, but wider. Let's try that. Is this gonna work? I don't fucking know. I couldn't tell you if I wanted to. Because I don't really know what I'm doing, so... We're just going to try to make this ear right there, but wider. And maybe a little different, I'm not sure. Also, if I were to draw an orc ear, I'd probably want to put some jewelry in it. I don't know why, but I always think of orcs with, jewelry in their ears. Probably because most of the orcs I've seen have had that in their ears. Why do they do that? I don't know. I am not super well versed in fantasy monsters. Which I would like to change that, though, because I would like to make my own little fantasy monsters, and I'd like to see other ones to see how they work, and see which ones I would like to implement in my own stories. And see ways I could make them work in real life. Like dragons. I want to see how a dragon could work in real life. I mean, I know technically they wouldn't work. They're just too massive and they just wouldn't be able to fly. Too massive. They'd have to flap their wings too fast. They're too heavy. But it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. We can pretend like that stuff doesn't matter. Alright, what the fuck am I doing? Let's go like this. Yeah. Don't worry, I'm definitely thinking this through and not just drawing and being like, yep, this'll work out. Because I would never do such a thing. I would never just draw and just assume that it's gonna work out. I'm definitely not doing that. I'm doing that. Alright. Okay. I was just talking about jewelry. I could give this guy jewelry. I'm not gonna give this guy jewelry. But I could. I could, but he doesn't deserve it. He didn't work for the jewelry. I mean, actually, if this is supposed to be a dwarf, most likely he would have made it himself. But shushy. Trivial matters. Right. I just realized if I was basing this off of that inside of the ear, why did I go with this for the inside? Or if I was basing this off of this ear, why did I go with this for the inside of the ear design? Why? I couldn't tell you. Alright. Yeah, the eraser's definitely too big to do any type of detail. But that's also good for sketching, though. Alright. Yep, definitely not perfect, but it's not terrible or anything. Okay, could I draw another ear? Probably. What the hell else would I draw, though? I don't know. Just draw a cat ear. Boom. Cat ear. No. What about just a little ear right here? go. There we go. Perfect. There we go. It's a little rabbit. You get it? It's a little rabbit. Little rabbit. Let's go ahead and give him some eyes. And a mouth. This is very necessary to drawing noses, by the way. He is a very necessary part of the process. Yep. Here we go. There's all our ears. Alright, I don't. Oh. Well, that's gone. I don't know. Bye. End of video.